Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankara-Acharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jnananandamaям devam nirmalasphatiकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे. ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः. ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः. So we were in the topic of chaitanyasya svaprakAshatva-upapattih, and also Ramanuja's views on this we are negating. We are doing khandana. So Ramanuja's view is that this anubhava itself, they say that swasattaya swa-ashrayam prakashayati. So the anubhava, it is actually like it by its own existence, it lights up itself, and also it lights up its ashraya, which is atma. So they are talking about atma as something other than anubhava also, and anubhava itself is some kind of svaprakasha, but it is not atma. So this is the view of Ramanuja. And further, Sudarshana also says that there is a nitya dravya jnanam. Jnanam is nitya dravyam. And Ramanuja says this anubhava itself comes into the picture only when there is the sambandha between the Vishaya and Chaitanya, correct? So Vartamana Dashayam and all they talk about. So how can Nitya Dravya have a Vartamana Dasha? Means that Vartamana Dasha is basically that Sambandha only is actually talked about as Vartamana Dasha. So like this argument is there. Then we say that if you say something like this Lakshana extends to also Sakshi Bhasya Vishayas like Sukha, Dukha, etc. because they can also be said as when they are there, they light themselves up and they also light up the knower, kind of a thing they are saying. So your Lakshana has Ativyapti into Sukha Dukhadi. Once we say this, they gave an argument that no, there is a Sukha is there and there is also a separate Sukhakara Vritti. That is what is really making the Sukha known. So this that means that Sukhakara Vritti is Anubhava for them, and that Anubhava is separate from Sukha. Therefore, there is no Ativyapti, like this they try to argue. Now, we said that doesn't make any sense because Sukha also is Antakarana Vritti, Sukhakara Vritti also is Antakarana Vritti. What is the difference between them? One cannot be Prakashaka and another becomes Prakashya like that. There is no difference. There is no Vishesha between them. So there is no point in saying that there is another Vritti. If you say like that, then the other Vritti, how is it known then? Or how does that alone becomes Anubhava and the Sukha Vritti itself, or Sukha as the Manovritti is not Anubhava? Like this, separating it out and saying as two Vrittis doesn't make any sense. In fact, it can lead to Anavattha also. Because, and also we say that mind itself is Jada, Manovritti also is Jada. Okay, so once we say this, they say that no, it is not Jada. So, nacha antakaranam agadam iti vaksyam tata sati tat parinama bhutam sukhamapi ajadam eva bhavet. So, if you say antakarana, that vritti, how can it become prakashaka? Because it is Jada if we say. Then they say, no, it is not jada. Then the initial sukha vritti also should be not jada. That is also antakarana vritti. So there is no difference between the two. So proposing two vrittis for this doesn't make any sense. And also further, if you say that antakarana vritti is not jada, prakriti also will become ajada. So this is the problem. Okay, प्रकृतिः अपि अजडा एव भवेत्, तस्मात् यदि वृत्तिः स्वसत्तया एव प्रकाशते तर्हि सुखमपि तथैव इति अतिव्याप्तिः लक्षणस्य सुखादौ. So if you say the vritti is shining by its own existence, correct, by itself, and it is also shining its swa asharaya, they say, which is atma. Therefore, then sukham also can be same way. This vritti, which is sukha, it will extend to all these things. So your lakshana is not proper. Why? Because kincha anubhutihi swashrayam pati swasattaya eva prakashate ityasya ko arthaha. Okay. Further, what we are asking, you are saying anubhuti means swaya ashrayam pati swasattaya eva prakashate. Whatever is anubhuti or experience, by its own existence, it lights up itself and it lights up its ashraya, which is the atma. If you say, what do you mean by that real? Okay, ko arthaha. So we are asking two questions here. Kim anubhutihi swa ashrayam pati swatmanam swasattaya eva prakashayati ityarthaha means what? It lights up itself and it lights up the atma also, which is swa ashraya. Then that is one question. Otherwise, what? Yadva anubhutau jatayam satyam purushaha mama anubhutihi jata iti pratyeti swataha eva ityarthaha. Otherwise, what? The purusha, which is atma here, because of the existence of the experience, the anubhuti is born. And then this is my experience also is there, correct? Mama anubhutihi iti, that cognition also is there. Cognition happens by itself again. Okay, it is not dependent on anything else. Are you saying like this? Means now there are two cognitions. One is the experience itself being there, and this is my experience like this. So like this, there are two cognitions, you can say. What do you really say by this? Means adye, okay, there is a spelling mistake here. It is there as adye. Adye karma kartru bhava virodaha graha kale grahaka bhava. So if you say that the anubhuti is lighting up itself, means there is a karma kartru bhava virodha will be there. Okay, and then what? The subject and object are grahaka and grahya will become one and the same during the time of this cognition. And also you cannot say that what graha kale grahaka abhava, grahaka kale grahya abhavacha, like this. If the same thing is both grahaka and grahya, while it is grahaka, it cannot be the grahya, correct? While it is the subject, it cannot be the object. While it is the object, it itself cannot be the subject. Like that, there is karma kartru, bhava virodha will be there. Subject object cannot be the same thing. That problem will come if you say the initial one. If you say there are two cognitions to get out of this problem, that you are separating out subject and object. Subject is one cognition, object is another cognition and all that. Dvitiye mama anubhutihi jata iti ya asid anubhutihi purushasya sakim pratama anubhutihi bhinna uta bhinna. Okay, in the second option, these two cognitions you are talking about, they are the same or different. Again, if you say they are they are different, correct? Adye anyonya ashrayadayaha, anyonya ashrayadayaha, because it can also lead to anavastha, chakraka and all that. This kind of problems we have seen already. So if they are two different things, then you have to say this is this is there because of that, that is there because of this, like that. Either subject object itself is normally mutually dependent. Then to get out of that, if you propose a third one, then it can lead to chakraka, or it keeps on going, correct? It becomes infinite regress, which is anavastha. So that's why he says anyonya ashraya adayaha. These doshas will come. And in the second option, it will become atma ashraya. If it's the same thing, again the same problem. You cannot be, both cannot be subject and object, or both cannot be the same. So whatever you are saying itself is durukta. That's what we are saying. Whatever you are saying, it cannot be even established. It cannot be ascertained properly what you are saying. Therefore, what you said about us, okay? Yad uktam anubhutehe ananubhavyatvam duruktam. So he said that what anubhuti itself, if you say that this anubhuti, which is basically jnana swarupa they are talking about, itself cannot be experienced. If we say, then how do we even know it is there? That is their problem. Okay. If you say that anubhuti is ananubhavya, means what? The anubhuti itself can never become an object of experience, correct? That's what we are saying. Brahman or Atma can never be an object of cognition. It is always of the nature of the subject, we say. If that is so, if it is never an object of cognition, how can you even know? And if you cannot know it, how can you even say it exists? These kinds of questions is what there in their mind. Okay, we have to understand that. So they say that therefore what anything has to be cognized as an object, then only its very existence can be established. So they are saying if you say that anubhuti is ananubhavya, means anubhuti itself cannot become an object of experience. That is not, that is improper. That is duruktam. Whatever you have said like that, that is duruktam, we say. Duruktam. Whatever you raise the defect, that is improper. In fact, your own position you are not able to establish, and then you are attacking what we are saying. Doesn't make any sense. In fact, we can explain how anubhuti is ananubhavya. Okay. How? Because now he is explaining. He says, Vritti Lakshana Anubhutehe Chaitanyavabhasyatva Lakshanam Anubhavyatvam Asti Eva. So what we say, this Vritti Lakshana Anubhutehe, if you take Anubhuti or experience as characterized by Vritti, Manovritti, then that Manovritti is lighted up by Chaitanya. Correct? Chaitanya Avabhasyatva is there. That Manovritti is lighted up, or whatever is happening in your mind also is known to you, we say, correct? Who is Chaitanya Swarupa, that is lighted up by the Chaitanya Avabhasyatva Lakshana is possible. And that is what is Anubhavya, we say. The vritti, that experience, I have that experience is known because that experience itself is lighted up. The experience which is in the form of the Manovritti is lighted up by Chaitanya, which is Atma. Therefore, this Mama Anubhavaha, like that Anubhavyatvam can be there. But what jnana lakshana anubhutestu chaitanyatvat na chaitanyavabhasyatvam iti bhavati eva ananubhavyatvam iti. But what jnana lakshana here is the jnana swarupa, the very nature of the subject, that is chaitanyam itself, that is consciousness. So the jnana lakshana anubhuti is not separate from chaitanya. There are no two things there, and it cannot light itself up also. When we say svaprakasha, we don't mean that jnana is lighting itself up. We just say that it keeps on shining, that's all. Because even the Sakshi Bhava also is in Avidya only. Understand that it is also Upadhikrita. So Sakshi, when we say it is also part of, it is there because of the Upadhi alone. There is no Sakshitvam in Atma. That is also Mithya. Atma is just shining as consciousness. It is there as it is. So there is no Karma Kartru Bhava Virodha in Atma shining by itself. Understand that. That is the svaprakAshatva we talk about. So here, in fact, this Bhashyakara makes clear in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya also. If you read in the Swayanjyoti Brahmanam, there is a big discussion, I think, in the fourth chapter, third Brahmana, around 7th or 8th verse, where Bhashyakara takes up different views of Charvakas and also this Vijnanavadi Buddha views, and there when he talks about, then he explains very clearly what do we mean by this this Swayam Jyotihi. Okay. So anyway, so here Chaitanya Avabhasyatum cannot be there for Chaitanyam itself. Therefore, it can never be an object of experience. Oh, this is what is said very clearly by many Upanishads also, correct? Everywhere in Keno Upanishads and all, it is said very, very clearly. Correct? Yad vacha nabhyuditam yena vag abhyudyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam ididam upasate. Like this, it keeps on saying, yen manasana manute yena hurmano matam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam ididam upasate. Yet chakshusha pashyati yena chakshumshi pashyati tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam ididam upasate. Like that, that which can never be visualized or done upasana on means what? It is never an object of cognition, but by which only you know whether the eye is seeing or not, mind is thinking or not, what is speaking or not. All these things, their activities are happening due to the presence of which Chaitanyam, Sannidhi Matrena again, correct? By its very presence only all these activities are taking place, but that which can never be objectified by any Indriya or mind, that is what we are talking about. That can never be an object of cognition. That's what Upanishad also is teaching. And finally, you can only know it as Pratibodha Viditam Matam, correct? That which is invariable in each and every cognition. In fact, every experience, every cognition, in that, all three, the knower, known, and knowledge, whatever you say, or the experiencer, experienced, and experience itself resolves into which vastu. That is this Atma Vastu. That is in fact invariable in each and every cognition, each and in every experience. So that's why we say you don't even need a special experience to understand this Atma. In fact, experience is not at all a problem for us. Everybody experiences Advaita also in deep sleep. Right? There is no Dvaita, there is no Avidya Karya in sleep. So there is no problem of experience or anything. It is only that how you interpret the experience and understand. Jnanam is the problem. Even though everybody has all kinds of experiences, you make mistake. You have wrong notion about yourself. That wrong notion has to go away. Without that wrong notion going away, even if you experience some jada samadhi and all that, it's not useful. During that samadhi time, it is good. Once you come out and again, if you are taking yourself really as a karta bhokta, as a knower and all that, it's a problem. So jnanam is the most important thing. So like my Guruji used to say, a lightened mind is not what we are seeking. What we are really seeking is an enlightened mind, and enlightenment is what is important. Of course, to make that enlightenment firm, okay, all this yoga, sadhana, and all is useful. Even samadhi is useful. We cannot deny that. That is there in our tradition. But with, without understanding the pramanya of Shruti, just saying that you do meditation, don't read Shastra, etc., that's how modern Vedanta has become. Or even that's how most of the Buddhists also say something like that, correct? For them, meditation is everything. We don't accept that. Anyway, so here, this Ananubhavyatvam for Chaitanya is there. That's what we are saying. Okay, once we say this, what now he is saying, Nacha Chaitanyam api Chaitanyantara Avabhasyam iti Vachyam. So now what they are saying, according to them, there are many Chaitanyas. Okay, Chaitanyam api Chaitanyantara Avabhasyam means one Chaitanya is known by another Chaitanya. This is what they are claiming. But you can't say that. Why? Chaitanya Antara Abhava. There is no second Chaitanya, in fact. The Shruti is very emphatic. In fact, in Gita and all that, Bhagavan is actually giving so many analogies everywhere. Yatha prakashayatyekaha kritsnam lokam imam ravihi and all that he says. Similarly, kshetrajnam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am the kshetrajna in every kshetra. Correct? All the kshetras are only lighted up by one kshetrajnaha. This is very clearly said even in the Gita. There is no doubt. In so many other places, Ekameva Advitiyam and all that, it is said. Okay, so he is even saying that Ekameva iti shrutehe. So in Chandogya also, Ekameva Advitiyam is there. Brihadaranyaka also it is there in the Swayamjyoti Brahmanam itself. So, Nacha Brahma Iva Ekamiti. Once you say this, what they say, no, no, Brahman alone is Eka. Not this Chaitanya. There can be Chaitanya Bahulyam. There can be many Chaitanyas. Means what? You can't say why chaitanyasya eva brahmatva. Brahman and Chaitanya are not two different things. That's why the Brahma Lakshanam is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Vijnanam Anandam Brahma Prajnana Ghanam. All this correct Prajnanam Brahma etc. So etena sarvesham anubhavanam iti pratyuktam. Okay, by this what? That you say that there are many anubhavas. These many anubhavas is purely from the standpoint of vritti. In fact, he will say that. Not from the standpoint of the lighting consciousness. The consciousness which lights up all the manovrittis is only one. So he says that vritti rupa vishaya jnananam eva anekatvam na chaitanya atmaka anubhavasya. So from this from whatever we have said till now, whatever all anubhavas are there, you are saying that all anubhavas, multiple anubhavas are only with reference to the vritti rupa vishaya jnana. Means the manovrittis are many because minds themselves are many, correct? So there are multiple minds, multiple manovrittis. Therefore, with reference to that, you can say there are many anubhavas, but the chaitanya which is lighting up all these manovrittis is only one. Okay. Nana chidra ghatavhadarasti tamaha deepa prabhabhaswaram. Like that. Even in Dakshinamurti Stotram, we have this beautiful analogy of the pot within which one light is there. But if you put holes, it looks like as though many different sources of light are there. But in reality, there is only one light. The same light is coming through all the holes, which are the upadhis here. So it is only upadhi drishtya. We have sarvesham anubhavanam and all you can say. But all of them are lighted up by only one Chaitanya. So Chaitanyatmaka Anubhavasya na. Okay. Yaduktam. Okay. Whatever you said further, what? Paranubhavaha iti, Swanubhavaha iti cha. Tad ubhayam ayuktam. So again you said that there's Paranubhava which can be, you can do Anumana, that somebody else is having Anubhava. Therefore, Anubhava itself is Anubhavya. That is also wrong. And Swanubhava. One also experiences one's own Anubhava by recollecting it and all that it was said. Those two things are again wrong. Why? Tadubhayamapi ayuktam, they are not proper. Why? Anubhave svatva paratva bhava. With reference to Anubhava, there is no one's Anubhava. Here Anubhava means we are talking about the Anubhuti Swarupa. Okay? The Aparoksha Anubhuti. So there is no Svatva Paratva with reference to this Anubhuti or Anubhava. So nacha parasya anubhavaha, paranubhavaha, swasya anubhavaha, swanubhavaha iti vachyam. So now what, once we say this, they are saying, no, no, there is the experience of others and my own experience is there, swanubhava. How can you say it is not there means what? Then we say, why? Parasya swasya cha pramatuhu surupa bhutam ekam eva chaitanyam anubhavaha iti. Whether it is para anubhavaha or swasya anubhavaha, okay, the swarupa of the knower, the very nature of the knower is only one, which is one chaitanya, and that is what can be really called as anubhava. Any other anubhava, vritti being called as anubhava is only aupacharika. Correct? We already said vritti being called as jnanam and vritti being called as anubhava and all is only aupacharika. Really, the anubhuti swarupa can only be chaitanya, and the chaitanya is only one. You don't have any pramana to show that there are multiple chaitanyas. You cannot say that pratyaksha and anumana and all you can use for this purpose. Pratyaksha itself doesn't have any any access to this, because through pratyaksha only many bodies are seen. Correct? And just because some bodies are active, you cannot again say by Anumana, I say there is consciousness there. It cannot be conclusively established that there is multiple consciousnesses, because just because multiple bodies are active, are behaving and all that. Correct? From behavior alone, also you cannot do this Anumana. Therefore, only Shruti we have to go to. Okay? And Shruti is very clear here. Shruti is not on your side. Although you try to twist the Shruti as much as possible, still it is not possible. You read the Shruti properly, it is very clear. So, all this swasya, parasya and all that, the knower Swarupa in whichever anubhava, whether it is paranubhava, swanubhava, it is only one, which is one chaitanya, that alone can be called as anubhava. Therefore, what tasmat swayam prakasha anubhava rupameva brahma iti. So this Brahman is swayam prakasha anubhava rupa. It is anubhuti swarupa and it is swayam prakasha also. It is shining by itself. Yad uktam anubhutis swataha siddha iti vaktum na shakyate iti tat parastam anubhutehe brahmatva samarthanena. Okay, so also they said what? This anubhuti cannot be said as swata siddha. Okay, that also they say. That also you cannot say that this anubhuti is swata siddha unless it makes one know itself or whatever. Correct? They are talking about again tatra karma both being there. Now we are not talking like that, but it is still there. So that also is now gone with this. This whatever we have explained now, by this we establish that anubhuti is swata siddha, and that why? Because anubhuti is not something other than Brahman. Anubhutehe brahmatva samarthanena, by pointing out that anubhuti is nothing but Brahman. And Brahman is swata siddha, we have to say. Brahmahi swata siddham. So how do we say that Brahman is swata siddham? Because Brahman is nityam. That which is nitya has to be swata siddha. Correct? It cannot be paratas siddham. So, nacha vishayendriya sannikarsa janyam janya anubhavasya katham swata siddhatvam iti vachyam. Okay. Once we say that Brahman is swata siddha and all that, and anubhava is Brahman, they don't accept anubhava is Brahman. For them, anubhava is different, Brahman is different, Atman is different. I think all these things are different. So he is again claiming that anubhava is born due to Vishayendra, Vishaya and Indriya coming together in contact. So Vishayendriya Sannikarsha Janya Anubhavasya Katham Swata Siddhatvam. How can it be self-established or self-existent? How can you say this? Means we can say, why? In fact, you cannot say, ask this question to us. Katham Swata Siddham na Vachyam we say. Why? Na Vayam Tadrishasya Vritti Jnana Lakshana Anubhavasya Swata Siddhatvam Bhrumaha. In fact, we are not saying that this Vritti Jnana is Swata Siddha. So your objection doesn't hold, it is not applicable to us, because we are not saying this Vritti Jnana, which is fun, we accept, which Vritti Jnana requires the Vishaya and Indriya to come into contact. Okay. But that is not Anubhava. That is in fact Anitya, transient, that everybody accepts. Okay. We are talking about the Nitya Anubhuti Swarupa, which is Swata Siddha. Correct? Anything Anitya cannot be Swata Siddha. It has to be only known by something which is invariable, which is always there. Correct? And that whatever is invariable and always there has to be self-existent. Okay, because that which is always there means you cannot know its Adi or Anta. Anadya Ananta means it is always there, and it must also be self-revealing. That's why self-existence and self-revelation go together. Self-evident and self-existent. So we are not talking about Vitti-jnana, which you are saying as Anubhava, Swata Siddha, but what we are saying Kintu Chaitanya Lakshanasya Nityasya Eva. So we are talking about the Nitya Chaitanya, which is Swata Siddha. Whatever is self-existent has to be self-evident also. Nahi Nityam Vastu Parataha Siddhyati. That's what he is saying. Whatever is Nitya Vastu, it cannot be known by another, because there is no two, there cannot be two consciousnesses and still say that both are Ananta and all that. There is Anantatvam means there can be only one, and if there is only one, how can it be known by something else also? There is no question of something else itself, and there can be only one Nitya Vastu, so it cannot be established by something else. Therefore, what etena anubhavasya nityatvam swata siddhatvam cha bhruvataha shruta prakashikakarasya vyahatavaditvam spashtam. Okay, by this what? See, Anubhava, I think it should be Anubhavasya Anityatvam. Most probably there is a mistake here, because they also accept that Anubhava is Anitya, but there is a separate Nitya Jnanam and all that. Okay. But it is Swata Siddha, they say, because it is lighting up itself and lights up its own Ashraya, they say. So whatever is Anitya, they are claiming it as Swata Siddha, which doesn't make any sense, correct? Anubhava cannot be Swata Siddha. Whatever Anubhava they are saying, which is Vritti Jnana. Okay. So that is contradictory, and therefore that contradictory statement made by Sutta Prakashikakara also is negated. And also he is claiming another thing, that is that the Nitya Jnanam is not Swata Siddham also, they claim. Because there is a Nitya Jnana Dravya, that is not Swata Siddha. That is lighted up by the Anubhava, they say, which is Anitya but Swata Siddha. So they claim both, which is very weird. There is a Anitya Anubhava which is Swata Siddha. There is a Nitya Dravya which is not Swata Siddha. Both are contradictory, and both are also very clearly, they are shown as contradictory. Therefore, it is not worth uh, even considering. Okay, once we say this, what? Nacha Nitya api Prakriti Kaladayaha Swata Siddha. Okay, Swata Siddhau iti Vachyam. Okay, Swata Siddhan iti Vachyam, I think that's not very clear. Swata Kaladayaha is there. Okay, Swata Siddhani maybe. Okay. So this Prakriti, Kala, etc. and all, okay, they are Nitya, but it should be then Aswata Siddha then. Okay, Swata Siddha na iti Vachyam. Okay, correct. So now what they are saying is, we said that Nitya Dravyam also Sudarshana is talking about, which is not Swata Siddha. It can be similar to Prakriti and Kala, he is saying. Okay, Prakriti is Anadi, you also say. That means it is Nitya, but it is Jada, and it is not Swata Siddha. So why cannot this Nitya Dravyam which I am proposing be similar? Means, see, Prakriti and Kala, etc. are not Nitya. They are all Anitya only. Brahman alone is really Nityam. Understand that. Even though we may say Anadi, they have Anta. So Anadi, Santam. That is why it is Nitya, in fact. So they are all Anitya only, really. Tesham Anityatva. We do not say Prakriti and Kala, etc. are Nitya. So nahi Brahma Bhinnam Kimapi Vastu Nityam Asti. Ataha Anyadartam iti Shrutehe. So the Brihadaranyaka Shruti is there. Ataha Anyadartam. Anything other than Brahman, it is all negatable, negated. And therefore they are all not Nitya. They can never be eternal, or they can never be free of time, transcend time itself. There is no question of Nityatvam of Kala. Kalasyapi Karanam Brahma, we say. Understand that. Bhashyakara is very clear. Akasha Kala, etc., they are all only Kritakam. Okay, they are all created. Therefore, there is no question of them being Nitya. Artatvam hi Badhitatvam. See, Artatvam here means Badhitatvam, that which can be negated. And therefore, what? Tan Anityasya eva vastunaha natu Nityasya sambhavati. So, this Badhitatvam or negatableness, you can say, whatever, that which can be negated, that is possible only for an Anitya Vastu, not for Nityam Brahma. For a Nitya Vastu, Badhitatvam cannot be there because Yadrupene Nishchitam Tanna Vyabhicharati iti Satyam, we say, it never changes. Once you have ascertained it as this, it is always the same. Therefore, there is no question of negating it. Anything which can be negated is all Badhita and Artha. Therefore, what we say, Nityatvasya, Kalatraya, Abaditatva, Rupatva. So he is saying, why Nitya Vastu cannot be negated? Because Kalatraya, Abaditatvam has to be there for something to be Nitya. Therefore, it is not subjected to time really. Therefore, it can never be negated in time. Therefore, what? Tasmad Anubhutihi Nitya Swayam Prakasha Ekacha iti Niravadyam. Therefore, what? Whatever the Anubhuti Swarupa, which is Brahman, Atman, we are talking about, it is Nitya, Anubhutihi Nitya, it is eternal, it is not subjected to time, and it is self-revealing, right? Self-evident, shining, Swayam Prakasha. And it is only one. All these things are Niravadyam, means what? It is defectless. Whatever we are saying, you cannot raise even one finger against this. Okay? This Niravadya, there are no defects in whatever we are saying, and it is based on Shruti Pramana. And also it is not, it doesn't go against one's Anubhava. Okay. Further, what? Atha yeduktam rAmAnuja-mata Anubhavasya Anubhavantara Anubhavyatve api na Anubhavatvam Apagachati iti tad ativa parihasaspadam, he says. Okay, Ramanuja says Anubhava, being that experience, being the object of experience of another experience, okay, does not make it such that its own experienceness goes away. Okay, in English it is very funny when I explain this. So Anubhavasya Anubhavantara Anubhavyatya means what? Experience being experienced by another experience does not make the original experience lose its experienceness. Okay, he is saying that. In fact, that is how you can even know that there is an experience. Otherwise, you cannot. Experience will become like this Sasha Shringa and all that. This is their argument. That is, he is saying that ativa parihasaspadam. It is extremely comic. Okay, comic relief for us. Why he is saying anubhavyatva, anubhavatvayoho, samanadikaranya yoga. What we are saying is what? In the same adhikarana lokas, this experience and being experienced both together cannot be there in the same adhikarana, same locus, in the same vastu. Okay, samana adhikaranya cannot be there. Further, what? Kincha yadi anubhavaha anubhavantarena anubhuyate. So let us say that one experience is being experienced by another experience. Tarhi, then what? Tad anubhavantaram kim anubhavantarena anubhuyate kim va prathama yadva anubhavantarena. So this anubhavantara you are talking about, okay, that anubhavantara itself, is it being experienced by another anubhava or not? And that another anubhava is prathama anubhava or it is another anubhava other than that, means, okay, then what? If you say all these things, this, in fact, it should be Adye Anyonyashraya, because it is the second Anubhava is experienced by the first Anubhava. First Anubhava has to be experienced by the second Anubhava. That's how you establish each other's existence, if you say, that is Anyonyashraya. Or if you bring in a third Anubhava, then it will keep on going, correct? It will become Anavastha, infinite regress. So both are problem. Anyonyashraya and Anavastha and all will come, and whatever. Priti ye karma kartru bhava vyagata. If you say no, there are no two Anubhavas, but they are still knowing each other. One Anubhava has to be known, to be established as it is existing, means then karma kartru bhava vyagata will come. It is knowing itself, if you say also, is a problem. So like this, whatever you are talking about, that Anubhava has to be experienced. The experience itself has to become an object of experience for it to be known or for it to exist. That is not correct. Okay, once we say this, what now they are saying, Nanu Anubhavasya Anubhavatvam yadi ananubhavyattvena hetuna sadhyate tarhi pushpasyapi anubhavatva prasangaha pushpam hi ananubhavyam iti chet. Okay, now if they are saying, if you say that Anubhava cannot become, or experience cannot become an object of experience, and in fact you are using that itself as a hetu or a reason to say that something is Anubhava, means it cannot become an object of experience, then I can say the sky flower, pushpa, or even shashashringa, let us say, hairs on, etc. All this atyanta, asata, tuchha vishaya also will become Anubhava. Your Lakshana is it is ativyaptam, correct? It is anaikantikam. It applies to all these things also, because they are also never experienced as an object. Therefore, those things also can be called as Anubhava, because they are all ananubhavyam. They can never be experienced. If you say this, no, that's not the case. Because, see, even these people say, once you know a cow, right, the cowness in the cow or the partness in the part, they are all there. You don't have to separately know that. Okay. The cowness of the cow need not be established separately. When you know the cow, you know the cowness also. Similarly, what we are saying, Anubhava and Anubhavatva need not be, they are not something separate. Anubhavatvam, they are talking about, for the Anubhava to be Anubhava, its Anubhavatva has to be known, correct? Separately, nothing like that. Anubhava is Anubhavatvam. That's it. It is established. When the Anubhava is there, Anubhavatvam also is there along with that. It is Siddhameva iti. That sadhana avakashaha, that need not be separately established. Okay, whatever needs is unaccomplished only can be accomplished newly, correct? Sadhyam hi sadhanena sadhyate natu siddham. Otherwise, the siddha sadhanata dosha will come. So that's what he's saying. Atayevihi siddha sadhanasya doshatvam. So whatever is siddha need not be again established by some anumana or anything. It is already siddha. But if you want, we can give a hetu for that also. What athapi. So even though it is siddha, now let us say sometime for dradhikaranam, for making it firm, we can give anumana, like even before we said, correct? So athapi yadi ananubhavyattvena tat sadhaniyam iti agrahaha tarhi. So if you are desperate, if you really want that through ananubhavyam also we have to establish the anubhava, then we give what? We will establish that. Sadhayamaha. Tarhi sadhayamaha. I will establish how. I am now giving this. Satve sati ananubhavyatvam hetuhu iti vadamaha. What is the hetu for this establishing anubhuti or anubhava? It should exist, but it cannot be experienced as an object. So we are giving the hetu like this. So satve sati ananubhavyatvam hetuhu iti vadamaha. And once we give this what? Kapushpam tu Visheshana asiddhena asiddhehe na anaikantyam. So kapushpe, in the kapushpa or sky flower or whatever hairs on, etc., it is not existent. Satve sati we have said. Therefore, the Visheshana asiddhi is there. Therefore, it doesn't extend. Or anaikantyam means what? It doesn't extend to pushpa. Whatever Lakshana we have given can only apply to Anubhava. Satve sati ananubhavyatvam. But once we say this, what he is now saying? Ajnate ghate ati vyaptihi. What about the ghata which is not known yet? So if you say that word na vachyam, na cha ajnate ghate ati vyaptihi iti vachyam, why? Tasyapi anubhava yogyatva satvat, but unknown part is fit to be known, correct? It has anubhava yogyatva. It can be experienced. So it has the capacity to be experienced, therefore that is fine. In fact, anubhavitum yogyam hi anubhavyam. So whatever can is an object of experience means it should have the capacity to be known. That is what is anubhavyam. Therefore, mainly what we say, yaduktam Ramanujena anubhutitvam nama vartamana dashayam swashrayam prati swasattaya eva swavishaya sadhanatvam iti tadayuktam. So whatever Ramanuja said, that anubhutitvam is what in the current, whatever in the present, vartamana dashaya means they mean that when the indriyartha sannikarsha is there, swashrayam pati, the anubhava is with reference to its own ashraya, which is Atma, by its own existence, swasattaya, swavishaya sadhanatvam means for its own vishaya, it is it is it is bringing to light, we have to say, correct? That is not proper. Okay, tadayuktam. Because why? Vishaya sadhanatvam means what? Vishaya prakashakatvam hi vishaya sadhanatvam. See, if you establish an object as being there, means basically you are revealing it, correct? Vishaya prakashakatvam. And tacha vishaya prakasha janakatvam. And that is nothing but the vishaya prakasha janakatvam. That ability to make something evident. And that Vishaya Prakashascha, Vishaya Anubhavaha, and that Vishaya Prakasha are making something evident only is the experience of that object, correct? So, what you are saying is, therefore, what you are actually meaning by saying all this is what Tatacha Anubhavaha, Anubhava Janakaha iti Siddham. So, from what you are saying, it means that Anubhava creates Anubhava. Because there is Anubhava, the Vishaya Anubhava is there, and that Vishaya Anubhava itself is created by the Anubhava you are saying. That means there are two Anubhavas are there. So again, you will analyze this. Okay, then how do you, what is the difference between these two Anubhavas, or whether they are the same? Like this analysis goes. I think this topic is quite big. Yeah, it goes on for some more time. We'll see this in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरु।